counting in my head again. Joe, you don't realize I'm a savant.
We're good? Are we live? We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to BellWorks, the iconic BellWorks, the vision of Ralph Zucker and his team at Somerset Inspired Development. We want to have a huge shout out for Ralph and his team and all the great work they're doing. They're also in Fort Monmouth now, in Chicago, and it's growing and growing. Come down to the block. It's open. It's open to everyone all week, all year long. Please come down. I want to welcome everyone to the April 2025 ChamberCast at BellWorks. You know, the ChamberCast is kind of like a box of chocolates, right? At least today, because, you know, we always check our internet settings. Make sure your settings are set to accept all cookies today, okay? We're accepting all cookies. So we have Girl Scouts here, some beautiful cookies in the back, and please enjoy a cake pop from, name is Cake Pop, or is it, you got a special name for those? Cake Pop. The original gourmet pop. I'm Terence Wall, your host, co-founder of ChamberCast. Today's podcast is very exciting. We're going to talk about something everyone loves, food. What's trending in the food business? Boujee versus casual. I learned that from my teenage daughters. I'm like, boujee? When did that come out? What's trending? We're going to explain the important business and community connectivity of our guest lineup here today. How does it all work together? You're going to find out in a very quick hour. We have a truly fantastic talk ahead of us, and I want to also thank the folks from Shared Universe Podcast for making this happen. Victor, appreciate your help today. Shout out to Ming Chen. If you want to do a podcast or just look like one, please call Shared Universe Podcast. They're awesome. So let's hear it for David Burke and Casey Webb. Thank you for being here. They're both, which you may or may not know, both Monmouth County natives, by the way. David grew up in Hazlitt, Casey right in Little Silver. Thanks for coming home and giving back to your local community. We also have the next generation here, as you know. A shout out to the students and Elliot Cohen, our business teacher in Homedale Township School District. Yes. Education is so important. The next generation that you're here, we appreciate it. So I'm going to make a couple quick introductions here, then we're going to go around the room so you can say hello, and we also want to give a shout out to part of the team that's involved in the programs that were going on recently with Girl Scouts, and they're sitting right up front. David Burke is an award-winning celebrity chef, restaurateur, culinary pioneer, celebrated for his inventive American cuisine and creative techniques like Himalayan salt dry aging. Who will never look at bacon the same way again, by the way? Raise your hand. Right? I certainly don't. A graduate of the Culinary Institute of America, Burke trained in France and became the first American to earn the prestigious Milieu Ouvrier de France Diplôme Honneur. Ça va? C'est bon. C'est bon. All right, mais oui. His awards and honors, they're really too many to list. Each person that's a guest here today really can be our own podcast. So we're going to move real quick, and you're going to get great actionable information for yourself, your family, your business, and your friends. Also, by the way, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're streaming live on YouTube. You can link on to Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce. Please feel free to share Instagram, all your social media, because you're going to have great pictures today and great content. Please share with your friends and your clients and your families. So, David opened acclaimed restaurants across the country, including Saudi Arabia, am I right? Yeah, so all over the world. Authored 2 cookbooks, appeared on shows like Top Chef Masters and Iron Chef America. I wanted him to bring his sidekick, your sous chef. You know Leftovers? Does everyone know Leftovers? He's famous. I wish Leftovers. Next time.
Where is Leftovers, David? Is he left over? Left him in the car.
He was out late.
So, on Top Chef Masters and Iron Chef America, today continues to lead the industry with bold, imaginative approaches to dining. And a quick fact that we mentioned earlier, those delicious cake pops were originated with David Burke. Casey Webb is a New Jersey-born actor, comedian, food enthusiast. There's not a hot sauce this man doesn't like. I don't know. I was watching the show. I was watching his show yesterday. My eyes were burning just watching the
goggles are recommended even at home.
Oh my God. So hosted the Travel Channel's Man vs. Food since 2017 with a background in the restaurant industry and acting. Casey brings his charisma and humor to his culinary adventures across America. Also appeared in the series Inside Amy Schumer, Part-Timers, The Elevator, and Boardwalk Empire. Remember Boardwalk Empire? What a show, what a show. Most recently, Casey partnered with the Girl Scouts at the Jersey Shore to highlight Top Cookie, and we're going to get in the business of that soon as well. We also have with us a very special CEO, Heather. Thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Girl Scouts and Heather and all the work that she does.
Thank you, Terence.
She leads the efforts to empower over 12,000 members, right? Now in Monmouth and Ocean counties with a strong background in nonprofit leadership and community development. Heather's passionate about building the next generation of leaders through innovative programs, STEM initiatives, outdoor adventures, and entrepreneurship experiences like the renowned Girl Scout Cookie Program. It's much more than a cookie, folks, and you're going to find out that today. Under her leadership, the council has expanded its reach and impact, including high-profile partnerships such as the 2025 Top Cookie event with celebrity chef Casey Webb. Heather is committed to creating opportunities for every girl to discover her strength, voice, and potential. Let's have a round of applause for the girls. Yes. Like I would say to people, I used to be Terence Wall, now I'm Jeannie's husband, and that's just fine. Joining the talk today, we also have Joe Minella. He's a digital storyteller. Joe, thank you so much, Joe. Yes, round of applause for Joe. He's the founder of Joe Minella Studios. His work includes the feature Maria's Gravy Pot, the documentary After Sandy, very important work, and the web series Greetings from Italian America, with over 3 million views. That's a lot of views. He recently produced The Bastard Sons, directed The Hair, which is coming in 2025, 2026, right? About there, and worked with the Girl Scouts of the Jersey Shore and celebrity chef Casey Webb to tell the story of the 2025 Top Cookie event. And unless you're properly telling the stories, they won't be heard, they won't be seen. It's critical. You can do incredibly important work. If there's no one there to see it or hear it, the value hasn't been delivered. And that catalyst and the way to bring that forward is incredibly important, no matter what your passion is in life. So what we want to do is want to go around the audience, Jeannie, and if we can start with the folks who are part of the program, I want to start. Why don't we start right? Is that on? So I want to welcome the other members of the team. Please introduce yourself and the impact that you had here at Girl Scouts.
Hi, I'm Tara, and I'm the pastry chef at Apple Street Kitchen. And you participated in? And I participated in the Top Cookie event that the Girl Scout hosted. Should I explain what it is?
Yeah, you know what? What is the Top Cookie event? Let everybody know here. Not everybody knows.
The Top Cookie event is where, I guess, 4 different pastry chefs in Monmouth County are recruited to make a dessert out of a Girl Scout cookie that they are given, and we only had 2 weeks to do it. So it was documented by Joe, and I guess, yeah.
And what cookie did you have?
I had the Thin Mint.
Your favorite.
And so
the Thin
tell
Mints,
us what concoction you created with the Thin Mint cookie. I love Thin Mints, by the way.
So I made a Thin Mint cheesecake. We actually both made cheesecakes. I did the Thin Mint cookie crust with a very soft and light vanilla cheesecake in the middle, a little bit of a fresh mint swirl, and then I had a white chocolate mousse on top with crushed up Thin Mints inside of that, with a mint chocolate drizzle that was almost like a hard chocolate shell. But I literally scraped off the chocolate from the Thin Mint around the outside of it and melted that into other chocolate.
So it's really like a real cooking show. It's amazing. It sounds delicious, so decadent.
I'm Mike from Lavotti's Oral Market, and we were the winners of Top Cookie this year. We did also make a cheesecake, yes. Thank you. I'll grab this. I'm comfortable. Yeah. So we made a Meyer lemon. We had the lemonade cookie, which is a shortbread cookie dipped in like a white chocolate with lemon zest, I would say. So we broke it down and made an Italian cheesecake style shortbread crust, and then filled it with a traditional New York style cheesecake to give it that creaminess. We added that Meyer lemon zest and topped it with fresh whipped cream, a half of Girl Scout cookie, and the rest was history. I thought it didn't look the best. I really thought Tara's looked a lot better than mine, but it went by. I think, yeah, the taste was great. So and we had a lot of fun working together. That was honestly the best part of it.
Congratulations, good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're going to go around the room, and everyone can give us their name.
Yeah, that's great. So we'll go around, give your name and your business, and we got a lot of folks here, so we'll make it nice and efficient. And also remember, we're also streaming live, so feel free to share this content afterwards. Go ahead, Jeannie. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Solomon. I'm the president of Sunflowers for Soldiers and also a proud member of the Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce, and I'm also on the board of directors for the Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce. So thank you for all coming to this incredible event. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Oh, no, first. I'm Heather Szymanski. I'm with TRC representing JCP&L Energy Efficiency Programs for commercial and industrial programs. We are lucky to have some of the best in the country right now. JCP&L has on-bill financing, all kinds of amazing things. This is not the same program. Sign up. It's great.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Harsh Patel. I'm one of the psychiatrists at Mind Body Healing Center. It's actually 4 of us total, and I'm here with Sharon, one of our practice managers. And at Mind Body Healing Center, we're right here in Homedale. We offer psychiatric medication management, and we give therapy. So we have individual therapy and couples counseling. Now, part of the Mind Body Healing Center is the component of whole body approach. So we also have aesthetic services, including Botox, sclerotherapy, and laser therapy. So we're a place where we provide a whole body approach to mental health.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, everybody. Stephen Hoffner from Dill Drinkers Pickleball. We just signed our first location in Freehold, New Jersey. Our Lavodi's is our neighbor at the Mounts Corner Shopping Center. So I'm here to support the chamber and, of course, the group, and welcome everybody to come out and participate in the pickleball fun. That's going to be probably early fall when we're ready to go. And if you like a T-shirt, we're here with T-shirts to spread the joy of pickleball. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Steven Levinsky from Homedale High School. I'm a senior, and I've been interning at a dermatology clinic.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kristen Savarino, and I'm with Two River Technology Group. We're located in here in Bell Works. We offer IT support services in the community focused in financial, legal, nonprofit. So if you ever need anything, please reach out.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elliot Cohen. I'm the high school business education teacher at Homedale High School, and I'm the internship coordinator where we have high-performing seniors out there in the field, unpaid. So if you're looking for an intern for your business, I'd love to chat with you, see if we can connect you with one of our students.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kyle Piscopo. I'm a senior at Homedale High School, and I've been interning at a mechanical engineering company.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amul Sayed, and I'm a junior at Homedale High School, and I'm looking for an internship in the culinary industry or history, and I would love to chat with some of you guys afterwards.
Ooh, you came to the right podcast.
Hi, my name is June Meski, and I'm a president at Wall Studio, where we produce custom furniture, including upholstery, cabinetry, and drapery. So if anyone needs furniture for restaurants, please get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, gang. Mark Vigiani. I help people achieve their goals. I represent Keller Williams of Central Monmouth.
Rob Purcell, resident of Homedale, retired detective, NYPD, 9/11 responder.
This is a good guy here, everybody.
Thank you, Ralph.
Good morning, Ann Mohammadi, corporate strategy consultant and board member for Monmouth Park Charity Fund.
She's the co-chair for the Kentucky Derby party coming up this weekend. Woo! Thanks,
Big
Ian.
party.
Good morning, Antoinette Picascia. I teach Italian cooking classes right here in
Va
Homedale
bene.
through Homedale Recreation.
And she's very much loved in Homedale, let me tell you, and I've attended the cooking classes, and they're excellent. Thank you.
Morning, everybody. Tamara Gouda. I work for Therese and Gail for whatever they want. I'm a board member of the chamber. My other job is I help people plan and protect for the future through retirement planning and investments. I am with New York Life.
Welcome.
Al Aloisi, also a board member of the chamber. Actually, the insurance companies work for me because I get plans for you for whatever you need. And Al Aloisi, a higher level of service.
Thank you, Al. We love you.
Hi, everybody. James Davis from FC Monmouth, new member of the chamber. We have a men's and women's semi-professional team representing the county nationwide. So we're kicking off this month. Very excited to be here.
Thank you.
Good morning, Jared Logan, owner of Go for Hire Staffing and Recruiting. If you're looking to do any hiring, we'll get you the people you need to work. Thanks.
Hi, good morning. I'm Teresa. I'm with CSAV Systems, located in Colts Neck. We install custom design audio-visual systems for different businesses. So different AV systems like video walls, video conferencing, and digital signage.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Christabel Rosell. I'm a branch manager in Jackson for First Commerce Bank.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Gladsack-Bentons. I'm a market manager for First Commerce Bank. I'm glad to be here with Christabel.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul Thurston, and I'm owner of T Marketing, and I recently pivoted to provide exceptional customer experiences through restaurants and cafes and coffee shops and stuff like that.
Thanks, Paul.
Good morning. I'm Tara Demianovich, Director of Community Relations and Development for CARC, the nonprofit Community Affairs and Resource Center, and we're having our gala next Friday. There are still tickets available, and we have 6 honorees. The amazing Maureen Lloyd is our Humanitarian of the Year.
Very nice.
Good morning, Gary Gelman, Gelman Images, full service photography, video production, and drone, celebrating 37 years now. We're now based in Spring Lake. We've moved from Freehold.
Thank you, and he's a great friend to the Chamber. Thank you for all you do.
Hi, good morning. Sterling Noka with First Atlantic Federal Credit Union, and we offer banking services for residential and commercial.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Douglas Clark. Chamber member for a few years now, just coming out to events. For the first time, very interested in the topics today. Kick It Industries is the LLC that I formed because I want to do my own thing. So I provide creative services primarily to nonprofits in the area, but all over the place, basically.
Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Anna Rose Rotundi, and I'm part of the David Burke team, representing Chef David Burke, as well as our venues in Monmouth County, The Goat, we have on Route 36, we have Red Horse Rumson, as well as Dixie Lee Bakery.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Alex Neal. I help divorced women coming out of their broken marriages to really rediscover who they are, their authentic selves, recreate their identity, and rebuild their life on their terms.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Therese Rolke. I'm the Executive Director of the Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce. Very happy to see everybody. And can we give the walls a hand, because without them, this does not happen. They always come up with magnificent events every month. Just everybody has one of these on their table. We are going to be putting up a panel, a flyer. How about a banner? How about a banner behind our panelists? If you want to, and it's going to be up there for a year once we get it created. So if you want to have your logo behind the panels on these podcasts, come and see us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Gail Bonus. I'm the Administrative Specialist with the Chamber, and welcome. It's a great crowd and always a great topic. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Drew, Sal, and Anthony. We're with Mazza Recycling in Tin Falls. Take care of trash and recycling services, as well as roll-off containers and mulch. If you guys need anything, please reach out to us.
Thank you.
South Valletta, Mazza Recycling. Drew said it best.
Anthony Guarino.
Thank you.
JCP&L programs are covering up to 80% of all cost. I forgot to mention the most important thing.
Okay, thank you. Did I miss anyone? Carla? Did I get you? No, I missed you, didn't I?
Oh, no. Come on, Carla. Oh, no.
Hi, everyone. Carla Scarabino, Girl Scouts of the Jersey Shore, Chief Development Officer. Just excited to be here and hear about our program. That was so great.
Thank you. I think I got everyone right. I'm Jeannie Wall, owner of Jeannie Wall Media, publishing for Tap Into. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Terence Wall, but I'm not moonlighting as your humble host. I'm a broker with Marsh McLennan Agency, part of Marsh, the largest insurance broker on the planet. So let's connect all the dots, won't we? Casey, you want to start, or Heather? Like, all of you know each other. You're working together on this program and this project. Who would like to kick it off? Connect the dots so folks see different businesses, different walks of life, different spheres of influence.
Okay.
All right, I will kick
it off, Heather. Thank you.
So everyone knows about Girl Scout cookies, but I don't think everyone understands that it is actually a program. It is teaching girls invaluable skills. They are their own business owners. They're learning how to do digital marketing with their online businesses, teaching them customer service. Some of these girls are 5 years old trying to sell a box of cookies. They're learning about the cookies. They're learning about money management, math. They have to multiply. If they just bought 3 boxes and they're $6, how much does that cost? And very good. He passes.
18.
And they're setting goals. They know what they want to do with their cookie money, so they strive for that. It also teaches them about just being in the world and taking no for an answer. Not everyone is always kind when you're out at a booth sale, and learning them how to handle that with dignity. But it's just really important for us to be able to share the message about what the Girl Scout cookie program is in a very fun way and highlighting that. So our creative minds came up with Top Cookie, and there were many creative minds involved in that process. And just a fun way to really engage our community and our partners, and with their help, highlight the cookies, but also bring some focus to the businesses themselves.
You know how folks are consuming news these days. It's changing. It's short form content, video, things of that nature, right? Joe, how did you engage with this process to bring it to a different level as far as video and video production?
Sure. So working at the Girl Scouts was kind of the missing piece for me in my life. I was having an identity crisis of what do I actually do. I knew I wanted to be a film director, but I also knew I wanted to be a dad, so I can't be a starving artist. I started video production business. It wasn't until I got to the Girl Scouts and they needed somebody who could do video production, and they were like, what are we going to call you? And I was like, I don't know, you decide. And they came up with Digital Storyteller. And Storyteller was the big one. That's when it came full circle for me. I'm like, that is exactly what I do in all aspects of this. The first project I had for them was Top Cookie. At the time, it was just an event. Very early on, when I started to meet the competitors and just see the setup and interview people, I was like, this is a TV show. Like, this is the kind of thing that people eat up all the time. Like, they're going to love this. They're going to love the backstory of why do you bake? Why do you bake the way you do? Why do you put this in there? And then to follow it full circle and watch this contest happen. So I told them right away, I was like, this has got to be a TV show. It took a couple of years. But the end of 2024, they said, we're going to try to do this as an episodic series. And it just kind of took off from there.
You know, and Top Cookie is it's a metaphor for girls and leadership and moving forward, right? David, can you speak to the intersection of culinary and how this, you've seen different programs and different product rollouts and things over the years, and you as well, Casey. How is this unique and different? It's the nonprofit sphere connecting with private business, connecting with different media, and how folks are consuming news these days. How is this next level, and what's your take on Top Cookie and how the process unfolded?
Well, I started judging Top Cookie in the early days, I guess, 6-7 years ago, right? And and we produce cookies with the varieties that are available as part of the competition. It was a competition, but I didn't realize that a show was developed from that. But what a great idea, because I think that, you know, the Girl Scouts is a great organization. And I didn't realize, you know, we all know about the Girl Scouts, Girl Scout cookies, but the amount of work that goes into selling them is incredible. I mean, 1 million boxes in 2 counties with all these young girls learning how to be young entrepreneurs and dealing with the public and setting goals, like you said, is incredible. But there is a competitive edge to it. There's a learning edge to it. There's a winning aspect. And I think as a TV show or a platform of how a nonprofit business works on a TV show, in the market of the TV shows where it's a little bit overwrought with the competitiveness and the brackets and the this and that and the winnings and the losings and some of the gimmicky stuff. This is real. It's about as real as it gets, because it's real reality, and I think people would be interested in seeing young girls get to the top. top cookie, top chef, top entrepreneur, all that. So it's a great idea, Joe, and I think there's a lot of legs to it. So, people are interested in food, but they're also interested in seeing young people do well.
Thank you for that. And Casey, through your lens and your background, what's your impression? What do you see?
Well, it started organically as a judge, and I came in, and then the first year, which was great, David and I were there, and we had a panel of judges, and then the second year, judged again, and then we did some content to really showcase or bring some eyes and ears on social. And then Joe had the idea in the back of his head. He had talked to me about it, working on a TV show since 2017. As Terence mentioned, it's a community. It's a community-based organization, and so let's bring this organization let's bring this show to the community instead of just having a one night only, where only so many people can necessarily afford to go, because it was a benefit. It was a ticketed thing at Asbury Lanes. Why not just blow this thing up and put it on social, put it on YouTube, so more people can see it, more girls can see it, more people can be a part of it. And then my biggest takeaway from doing Man vs. Food, for some of you might be like, oh, it must be all the food. It's really the elevating and celebrating of the small businesses around the country. And so to be able to do that here where I grew up and be a part of this organization, been tremendous. And when I was asked to be here, I have to note, I mentioned Joe. I was like, Joe needs to be on the panel, because it really starts with Joe. It starts with the Girl Scouts, of course, but then it's Joe's involvement with the Girl Scouts, and then just building from there. And so it's such a fun process, and I just love the business, even though I've been away from it for so long, doing a show, but I was very much immersed in it, not necessarily in New Jersey, but around the country. So taking all that experience and bringing it back, and then working with the Girl Scouts and Joe and other chefs and the judges and the restaurants and the chefs has just been tremendous. And so this is a one-off, we thought. Well, we built it as something that'd be more than a one-off. We're hoping that we continue to do this, whether I'm the host or not. I see Joe doing this, continuing. I would love to continue to be the host, putting myself out there. But it really takes a team to do that. That's why I wanted to make sure that not only was I here, if Joe can be here, I was going to be here. Because if you watch a show like Man vs. Food or any hosted-driven show, there's 30 people that make that show run, right? So behind the scenes, 11,000 girls and all of their parents and all of the restaurants that we worked with and all of their customers made this show happen. So just putting that out there. But yeah, it was such a fun process to do my thing, which I love to be able to do, and and bring it to you guys.
It's so interesting. The cookie is a catalyst, really, right? It's a catalyst for.
It's a conduit.
Yes.
It's a conduit.
I love that. I'm going to write that down. Hold on a second.
Cookies are a conduit.
I love that even better.
All cookies are conduits.
But on the macro level, food itself is so much more than a calorie, isn't it? So if you bring it up a few thousand feet, it's interesting how a cookie can foster so much more in terms of collaboration and development, building self-esteem, and building entrepreneurship. Can you speak to that, Heather? From the feedback that you get from the girls, what do you see in their eyes? What do you see from their experience? And then what's the next big thing in this space from your perspective?
Sure. So one thing I wanted to kind of piggyback on all of that is the Top Cookie event. The one thing that was really missing from the whole thing were the girls, because it's a fundraising event, as Casey said, and it was in the evening and there was a ticket price. So now this process of Top Cookie Reimagined this year, girls were involved every step of the way, from delivering cookies to the competitors, filming them. Casey had a fun time.
If you haven't seen the show, tune in. So Casey, her daughter, and Casey, myself, delivered the cookies to the businesses, which was just really fun, and it was kind of wrote itself. But anyway.
Casey has the personality to match this case. So they did have a lot of fun. But behind the scenes, too, sitting with Joe, learning about production and having them in the audience and cue cards, when to applaud, things like that. So it was really great. And then we created a patch program. So our members members could go out, and if they visited all the locations, there was a passport, and they would earn the patch. Really just making sure our members felt like they were part of this fun experience, because in the past they weren't as involved in it. And just being able to have that content and engagement from our membership was worth the entire process, which was really great. But also, as I mentioned, I do have a daughter, so I'm out there at cookie booth sales with her, and I get to see firsthand what it's like to have these young girls run their own businesses. They decide how they want to display their cookies, if they want to bling out their booth, what they're wearing to make sure they're showing all of their Girl Scout pride for the day, having a conversation, telling people about what they're going to do with the cookies, explaining why the cookie price maybe has gone up or the cookie names are a little bit different. They really are on their own. I just stand back and watch, and it is truly unbelievable what girls can accomplish during the cookie season.
I was going to say bling is up there with boujee, Terence, if you didn't know.
Yes.
Bling is up with boujee. It's in the same hemisphere.
Well, because part of the question that people looking at food, they hear boujee, which is the newer phrase for me, but boujee versus casual. What are some of the trends in food today? Are there clearly delineated trends, or where are things migrating towards as far as the food industry? If I may ask you, David.
Well, it's an interesting question. You have the high-end steakhouses that are extremely expensive. It's very expensive to eat out anywhere now. In New York City, where I have restaurants, to go to a bistro, you're going for two people is $200, no matter what. That's not even drinking a lot, right? So prices are crazy. I'm opening a restaurant in Jupiter in Florida. The prices in Jupiter are higher than New York City for food.
So they're on a whole other planet, is what you're saying.
They're on
Jupiter.
And we like high prices because we can come in with a better value. But yes, I think that it'll give way somehow. People are always looking for value. You look at Restaurant Week and happy hours and wine promotions. People always want value, whether it's $200 a head or a fast food restaurant. They want their expectation met. So if you go to a drive-through and grab a meal at $15 or $14, you know what you're getting. It's satisfying. Your expectation is met. If you go and spend $150 and the ambiance is right, service is good, and your expectation is met, you're happy. Because it might be different zip codes or different budgets or different occasions, but it has to be there. Now, there's a lot of confusion to me, and I think sometimes to the public, at least to me as a older chef looking at, when I was younger, a steakhouse served steak. They didn't serve sushi. They didn't serve tacos, and now people are starting to water down. They're trying to do a one restaurant stop for everything, and that gets back to the word fusion food or confusion in a restaurant. So that when you go to an authentic place that specializes in either fine dining, and fine dining in American cuisine is interesting because we can get away with anything. You call yourself a French restaurant, you should be serving 80% French food or in the style of French food, not. But an American restaurant, there's no boundaries. So the melting pot is here, and it's okay to, in my opinion, and in my style, to put an ethnic dish, or as long as the geography of that dish is on the same plate. I don't want to put Mexican food with Turkish food on the same plate. Might be on the same menu, an influence from a Moroccan lamb dish with a chicken that has a mole sauce, but that's what American food is based on. So it's a slippery slope to me sometimes of how things get diluted and confused here and there. But in general, the food quality in Monmouth County, because I grew up here, and Ocean County and Jersey in general, has gone through the roof in quality and variety, and it's a good thing to see, especially in this center of this part of Monmouth County. Netflix is going to help. The pandemic, one of the silver linings of it was the quality and the moving out of people from the city that demand higher and better food and better quality and clothing, and other businesses that come out to the suburbs and realize I don't have to commute, I don't have to live in the city, because I don't have to go into the city 5 days a week. I also have a restaurant in New York City in a big office building on Park Ave, and on Mondays and Fridays, we're dead. People are not necessarily back in that office as yet, and hopefully that happens too. But every time is the great equalizer.
Casey?
You know, what I've noticed, we know cash is king, but with restaurants, if I feel that casual has become king or queen. We have restaurants that serve foie gras French fries, Wagyu or Kobe beef burgers, and I think it's really getting casual and bringing the fine dining and casual together. We saw it with, I'm not naming any restaurants, but locally when white tablecloth disappeared and like higher end restaurants became really casual. Price points are still the same and going up, but it's emerging the casual based foods into fine dining has happened across the board. And it's, and even dress wear. I was out for my birthday on Sunday. We went around a bunch of places and it's like, the atmosphere is very, very casual for high-end restaurants. I appreciate that, but there was a time when you go to a fancy restaurant, you dress up for it. It's a specialty thing. It's a special event. We've lost a lot of touch with that. People are in their pajamas going out to dinner. And that's cool. It's just, and I think because of social and because of how much we see, what I'm seeing on social, just to bridge the gap between what I see in restaurants, is it's all flashy, it's all fast, it's very visual, and it's fast casual. Is what I'm seeing. So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I have a question, and for a lot of folks, the way they go out to eat, they're stunned by how much it costs. Stunned. And so for many families, they limit to the extent to which they're going out. So I have a couple different questions. One is the pricing based, it's a somewhat loaded question, not too loaded, not like a baked potato loaded, but is it based on what the market will bear? Is it based on what the cost to produce the product with a reasonable profit? Is it a blend of those things? Because some of my laughable moments are when I'm given
the check?
Not the check. Well, especially in the drive-thru.
Oh my God.
Well, my kids, they love
Honey,
Starbucks.
we have to mortgage the house again.
Yeah. I get out of Starbucks right when I go to the drive-thru window, open a couple different things. That'll be $3,495. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's great. I asked my kids, you got a promo code? So is it what the market bears, or is it a combination of what the cost to produce that is?
David can speak to this. I know this being in two different markets, New Jersey and New York City, and then Jupiter, another planet in Florida. Food costs has gone through the roof. I mean, am I not?
You've got a few different things. Rent factors, one of them, right? You got 10% rent. New York City, 10% would be, you want to be under that, so you get rent. In New Jersey, it depends if you own the building or you're paying rent. Food costs and labor costs are going to be, it's not going to change. It's going to be about 30%, 35%. Maybe Italian restaurants a little lower. Labor is through the roof. Labor is through the roof, so it's the margins are getting smaller in the restaurant business. But people like, to Casey's point, people want to feel like they're eating Wagyu beef and foie gras. So in a casual restaurant, they'll poetically write it into a menu, and it'll be, a little hint. It's like Mercedes when they made a tiny car for $40,000 instead of $90,000, right? So you got a Mercedes, or you're getting to go to this restaurant, but you're not getting the real one, right? And I think so we're dabbling in that, but to try to make money in the restaurant business, it's labor. Number one factor right now for everybody. What happens with owners? They get rid of who's the highest paid person? The general manager and the chef. They get rid of the chef. They think the number two chef can do the job because he knows all the recipes. He can do it, and we'll save the couple hundred, we'll save the money, right? Problem is, they're not trained as well. So it gets diluted and diluted and diluted and diluted because some of the investors think so-and-so can do it, right? Here's one of the problems with the restaurant industry in the back of the house chefs. If I get my nails cut, my grass cut, or my hair cut, the person I use has a license. If I go to a restaurant, that chef doesn't need a license. It's craziness, right? If you think about it, right? You don't need a license. You don't even have to have a certificate hanging there of Joe Chef went to this school and he's passed these exams for sanitation, nutrition, and all this other stuff. So there's work to be done, in my opinion, on that level. Most restaurants are kept clean by the Board of Health, and there are standards there. But in general, they're not on the quality of what's the food you're getting from behind those doors, because you don't know.
Because
so there is a difference between greatness and casual. But you can have a great chef in a casual restaurant. But in the great restaurants, you would expect more, because of the standard in which it's run.
Because to David's point, because the chef is overseeing all that, especially the cleanliness and making sure everything's the follow through, and when you get rid of that chef, like you said, it gets diluted because you said an interesting word, which is also necessary, is investor. Because oftentimes, if you don't own the building, you have a 5-year lease, or hopefully you have a 15-year lease. You grow your business in 5 years if you have a 5-year lease, and then they raise your rent through the roof, and then you're out. That happens more often in New York City than and everywhere. So real estate.
And a lot of folks don't realize, I think, and that's part of the reason I brought the topic up, how difficult it is to run a restaurant themselves. I remember I was over at Gertrude Brown's years ago, Bennigan's, right? And in the back of it, right?
You go back in time. It's a time machine.
Yeah.
Listen, I have several different investors in different groups, and some of them say, "Well, you chefs are crazy," and that's the reputation. If you see The Bear and all these shows, the stress is very high. The chefs aren't necessarily crazy. It's you're in a pressure cooker every day because everything goes to there's so many things to manage. You're on your feet for so many hours, and I was talking to the young lady who wants to go into culinary maybe, and you really got to be careful about understanding the reality of what you see on TV is not really what's happening behind the doors, right? You look at The Bear, that show's pretty interesting. I only saw the first couple series, and there's a lot of truth to that, a lot of it. There's a lot, the stress is very high, but the margins are very low. And we forget about printing, paper, insurance, right? Training. If you look at Houston's, and I'm a fan of Houston's, and I'm a fan of some of the other chains. They have the money to train a waiter for 6 weeks, full pay, and make sure they know all the allergies. And then you got to know the allergies. You got waiters that traditionally were part-time workers. Most waiters in New York wanted to be actors, et cetera, so it was an afterthought job. A great waiter, by the way, is priceless, and we need them, same as bartenders and managers. But then you have some that are just in there to get by, and they don't leave with any homework. There's no deadlines. It's there's less stress. The chef and the manager, they carry a lot of it. So there is anger and pressure and this and that. And then there's the tattoo culture. Casey, you know the tattoo culture? So people think chefs have tattoos, right? Do you agree? Like, oh, chefs are cool, they have tattoos. Chefs don't have tattoos.
They have scars.
Chefs have
scars all over the place.
Think about it, there's a culture in the restaurant business.
On the inside.
That's a renegade culture where you're accepted. If you walk into Goldman Sachs with a knife tattooed on your forehead, you're not getting hired.
No, definitely not.
Yeah? But if you walk in a restaurant, you're like, great, look at this guy. He must.
You can be the sous chef. You can be the sous. But you speak to a good point. The pressure cooker that is in the back of the house, which is the kitchen. There's not too many places that have such a pressure cooker that they're mirrored by an audience. So it's like you hear and see all that stuff because there's only two doors, right? The in and the outdoor, to the floor where all the people are dining. So it is a high pressure system that it's contained. It is a pressure cooker like no other. It's an amazing experience if you've never been in the restaurant industry, but it's also very much that. It's a lot of stress.
To talk to Joe, we're putting on a live performance every night in the restaurant, in the kitchen. Think about being on Broadway,
Right.
The pressure of an actor in front of the audience, but they're not, the audience is only using their ears and eyes, right? And the restaurant using your other senses, of course, taste, right? So there's a lot, and everyone's a critic on Yelp and this and that now, so you're getting criticized on a daily basis, but it's a production. The problem with the production is when somebody's sick, there's no understudy. So the chefs are there 7 days a week. When someone's sick, the chef's got to work. Someone calls out, someone gets hurt, someone gets burned, someone's smoking behind a dumpster. So that's where there isn't a band of fill-ins, and you can't say, well, you know what, we'll just close Saturday night and we'll open on Tuesday.
Yeah, it gives
the
new
show
meaning
must go on.
It gives new meaning to dumpster fire. It's not actually always on fire outside, but sometimes inside.
Yeah, and you mentioned marketing a little bit earlier. I wanted Joe you to speak to how has marketing changed from you could have a fantastic restaurant, everyone's ready to go, and you have empty tables. You could have a fantastic product, fantastic, all the above, and miss the marketing piece. Does video play a role in that, and social and these kinds of things to get those tables full?
Great segue, by the way.
Thank you.
Joe?
I think especially now, video plays a role in everything because it's a way of getting your message out and your story out. As it goes to restaurants with trends, like what works and what doesn't, it's tough to say. I mean, I have a big background actually in the restaurant industry. I worked as a waiter and a bartender for many years as I was trying to get to this level. And to speak to what you were saying, it actually prepared me for a career in film production because it was chaos, you know, and I was a hustler. I worked at Chili's and Hula Hands and places like that, and I would have like 10, 11, 12 tables at a time, and I wanted them all for the money. But like you just said, the show must go on and it must happen. The thing that I noticed over the years was I was always told that gas prices are high, expect that you're not going to have as many people coming in. And this is mostly casual dining. I think fine dining is what it is because it's a different clientele. Or the economy's not doing so well. Don't expect a big rush like we usually get. I never saw that. I don't know if it was because of the way I worked as a waiter, having a lot of regulars, but I saw the same faces a lot, whether they had money or not. I think what keeps them coming back is that dinner table, whether it's in your house or in another building that's a restaurant, is this social atmosphere. It's the stuff that you're going to remember your whole life. You're going to, oh, I remember I was out to dinner with that guy. So to bring that back to video, what I try to do with anything, whether it's food or something else, is I try to find the root of it, like what makes this work? What makes people go to a restaurant? What makes people value food? And there's some storyline behind that, and that's usually part of the process. So I think, you know, back to what you originally said, there is a process there because it's hard to get your message out unless you can properly do it. And sometimes it's not just pointing a camera at something and letting it roll. It's having somebody that can go in and listen to you speak for a long time and watch the process and say, ooh, that one thing you just said, that's going to resonate with somebody. That's generally my job, whether I'm making a film or a commercial, is to find those pieces that resonate and put those out there because it's about creating something that people are going to remember.
Thank you, Casey.
Similarly, with doing Man vs. Food, a lot of my job is speaking with the chef in the kitchen or doing what we call dining room interactions. When I talk to folks that are about to eat food, we would normally turn the camera on, not tell them, and I'd start a conversation, and we'd be engaged in a conversation. Then they realize that they're having a conversation on camera, and then we were done. It would be mining for sound bites. So speaking to what Joe's talking about, mining for that thing that resonates about the food, about the place, and that's a lot of what we were doing with figuring out with Top Cookie. It's like buzzwords and like what's exciting about what we're doing, and like having the dynamic between Casey and I and the dynamic with the restaurants. It's like, again, elevating and celebrating, bring eyes and ears to these places that people already go to. They're very busy on their own, but like this is just another extension of that. We kind of tapped into their success, and then, you know, by showcasing the Girl Scouts, it was like I said earlier, it's a team effort to get there, and I think showing how exciting the effort is to start to finish, to showcase like what Tara did. We, you know, if you watch the episodes, every chef, every baker, everyone that was in their respective businesses, we got to see how they did their thing, and then we brought that to the end, and then there was a contest, and then la-di-da, there's a winner. So it was about the process, you know, and having it lighthearted and fun, and it was on a local level, but this is something that could be nationally. You know, we didn't recreate the wheel. We just tapped into a very successful business model that's, you know, production model. So.
Well, and you said, and also Joe said something that's very important. You talk about teamwork. You talk about it's difficult and hard to get the word out. Everyone in this room can relate to that. Whatever business you're in, FC Monmouth, fantastic soccer club. And by the way, soccer's coming out big, and talk about marketing. You know, Brady was just at the event for MLDC a little while ago, and so there's big things happen to this area. But if you look just here with the guests that are here, we're going to be opening up to questions in a moment as well, and then we're going to get into the next big thing for you guys, is you would think these are disparate interests. You know, you're running a nonprofit, yet there's this intersection with private sector that ties directly to a key element of your organization, food, and professionals that are involved in the culinary markets, the film industry, videography, storytelling, how that all comes together. I think, Heather, if you can bring together how you think, and your thoughts for businesses that are here and are listening, is where is the intersection of kind of like the next generation of leadership with nonprofits, where you're taking from and sharing ideas and programming with the private sector, so there's a synergy between the two for the greater good of your organization, and also they're building their businesses, and they need to, frankly, their businesses need to succeed and thrive to be able to give back to the community. Can you speak to that, how that comes together? And if you have any messages for the folks that are thinking, we have nonprofits in the room, nonprofit leaders that are in leadership positions or are going to be in leadership positions. How do you set the stage, set the table, as it were, for them for the future?
Absolutely. So really, Girl Scouts is about building our future leaders by giving them experience and opportunities. And without the community partners, we would not be able to do it by ourselves. We serve over 8,000 girls. We have 35 full-time staff and 4,000 volunteers. We need program partners. We need to be able to bring folks in and teach them about food and about cooking. During COVID, David did a virtual cooking session with our girls to work on Top Cookie. Joe teaches them about being behind the camera and production. We have a Media Girls program that has tripled in size, where Jeannie has come in and talked to the girls about all that she does. We had, the girls are taking a tour of a radio station next month. We need our program partners, and we have to, I think, in the world of nonprofit, we have to stop thinking about competition and how we can work together to foster the growth and experience and opportunity for our future generations. And really back to marketing too, it's funny, you think Girl Scouts and Girl Scout cookies, they need no marketing, but we actually do, to kind of enlighten people on what the public perception is, right? Girl Scouts is cute little girls selling cookies, not that is just a small piece of what Girl Scouts is about. But on the flip side, it's great. I have a previous Girl Scout who went to the Swiss Alps fully funded by her Girl Scout cookie sales. She did not put a penny out of her pocket for that. She saw something she wanted to do, and she earned her way there. And that's what we're teaching girls, and that's what the Girl Scout cookie program is all about.
That's great. And you have the program, the Gold program, right? For
we
Girl
do,
Scout?
the Gold Award. So
do we have any Gold Award folks here that came? Any Girl Scouts with a Gold Award that came today?
Well, unfortunately, it's not a surprise, because less than 5% of eligible Girl Scouts actually earn it, because it is quite a commitment. And basically, girls find a need within their community, and they create a project and a solution to that, and it has to be sustainable and in some cases global. So we've had girls from our council who have opened up a diabetes clinic in their family's hometown in India, because it's such a rampant problem there. We've had other girls that have printed prosthetic limbs for children with a 3D printer. It is truly unbelievable what these girls are doing. Some people liken it to the Eagle Scout, but if you look at the time commitment and service hours there, it is actually even more difficult to achieve.
Thank you for that. So David, can you speak to the intersection?
First, I want to tell you, because when I worked with the Girl Scouts and I saw the stats, it was amazing. But I also love your business model of 35 paid employees and 4,000 volunteers. I try that.
We're hiring volunteers as we speak. Any more? 4,000 is not the cap.
I should add too, obviously, we do have a whole Man Enough to be a Girl Scout program, because you do not just need to be female to be part of the Girl Scout organization. It is so important that girls see the male role models in their life. So
that was a tender moment when we were actually filming the finale, and I was like, I feel like a fraud. I shouldn't be here. Like, there should be a woman up here, or a girl, or see. And you had said just that, and I was like, I'm not crying. You're crying. I'm not crying. You're crying. Because it matters, and then it's to know your place, and because it allowed me to do my job. It's like, okay, stop thinking, get out of your head, and be the guy that you're supposed to be today. And with Joe's help and the Girl Scouts, and we got it done, and it came out great. So.
Thank you for that. So what I'd like to do now, I'd like to open it up for questions. a few questions we have time for, and then we're going to wrap up with what's the next big thing, okay? What's the message you have for the businesses that are here, and for the folks, and the intersection of nonprofit and private sector, I think is really a synergy that can't be overlooked. Jeannie?
Looking back at your careers, what's one project or initiative you've been involved in that you feel had a particularly meaningful impact on the people you reached, and what did you learn from that experience about creating positive change or connection with an audience and community?
Great question.
Open floor.
So, 2017, in New York City, I'm an actor and I'm auditioning, and one thing happened. There was a moment where I was bartending at the time, and I was like, I hate bartending, but I love acting, and there was like this duality, and just one day there was a light bulb that went off because it was affecting me in the room when I was auditioning. And if any of you have been in a position, it's very much like, preparing for a job or an interview. And a light bulb went off, and then my attitude changed, and so I became the best bartender there was, and it shifted into my work as an actor. And after that, I wound up getting 6 jobs in a row, like within 3 months, and the last job was Man vs. Food, which propelled me into a universe that I never thought I'd be in. I've done culinary my whole life. That's how I made money as a kid. That's where I started, washing dishes. I did sports through high school and college, and then acting came later. So those 3 things, and production. So those 4 things, I would say, have got me to this point. What happened with Man vs. Food was I'm in like the end of the first season of doing the show, and I never thought I'd be in a position where I'm traveling the country and meeting all these amazing chefs. And each kitchen, there's 3 episodes, there's 3 restaurants each episode. We've done 90 episodes. That's 3 experiences in each kitchen, learning from them. And that takeaway was invaluable. After the first season, I was like, I don't know if I can eat all this hot, huge food anymore. This is a little bit crazy. And then I found out that any time that show airs, though I don't have the intellectual property to Man vs. Food, there's a potential for that business, if it's still open after COVID, that business, because the show airs, their business will increase by 40, 60, 70%. And quite honestly, that kept me in the game. I was like, I worked all mom and pops my whole life until I got to New York City, which I worked for a bigger group, but it kept me in the game. It was like, this is way bigger than you. There's 30 people that are working on this job just because you have one job. And all these businesses around the country potentially get more business because of some silly little show. And then, in addition to that, it was the outreach from parents. And I don't often share this, but I have shared it. One particular parent reached out on social media. What a beautiful network we have with social media when used well. Severely autistic son, wasn't eating food. We started watching food shows. We stumbled on your show. I happened to wear a Hawaiian shirt in the last 5 minutes of the episode to do the challenge. He's like, we started wearing Hawaiian shirts, and my son started eating food, and we started watching all these other programs. So something like that. Like, again, it's the little things we do that have a broader. I don't know the impact that I had until it was told to me. So, for me, it was about staying in the game. These are all sports references because that's where my head goes. But it's you don't know the impact you're having while you're doing the work. And for me, it's always been a focus on the work, focus on the work, focus on the work, and everything else will be there. So that's my mantra. That's my 2 cents.
Well said. Joe, do you want to say something?
Yeah, first, I just want to say thank you, Casey. The kind words you said about me at the onset, they mean everything to me. And I want to piggyback first on what Casey said. So I knew Casey before he got to the level of success that you're at today. And we all know someone in our life where you're like, that guy's going to make it or that guy deserves to make it. Casey was always both of those things. And I remember when you got Man vs. Food, and I saw you sometime after that. I was wondering, I was like, how's he going to be? Like, he's a star now. And he was the same Casey. And he's just an amazing person. And part of production of any sort, I'm sure it's same in a restaurant as video production, running a company. You look for people that are better than you that can help teach you something and bring you to another level. And that's Casey. Having him to do Top Cookie just made everything easy. You put a camera on him and he's just naturally great and funny, and it makes me look good in turn. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank, just one more thing on Casey. When we shot the finale.
Joe, keep going, please. It's live. It's on YouTube.
I haven't said this to anybody. When we shot the finale, it was 2 hours of filming. I was wrangling 4 cameras and the lights and directing the action and running around. I thought it was a disaster in my head. I didn't tell anyone that. I'm like,
we're looking for more volunteers next year. So.
Yeah, I was like, I just screwed this up royally. When it finished, I had this horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to put this together. No clue. I don't know if the cameras came out. And I was packing up my gear, and it was like over 2 hours. And Casey stood there with me just BSing for 2 hours. And, as you know, he's a man who has plenty on his plate and plenty to do. And he just stood there with me while I packed my gear up. And
because you wouldn't let me help you pack the gear up, just because you have a certain way of doing things. But I was there with your father, moral support, so.
But just really quickly, I won't speak too much longer, to your question about projects that speak to you. So I do the opposite. I try to take any project I do and find what's in that to be inspiring, Right now, probably the most inspiring work I do is my work with the Girl Scouts, because for me, it checks off a lot of boxes. Number one, it's like a playground for me of all the things I wanted to do. I say, the onset, I wanted to be a film director. I just got to produce and put a whole show together, that was experimental. It was basically nothing to lose in that. At the same time, I also get to teach younger people, what I do and, just how to get through difficult situations. I get to inspire other people in that way. I find that, you find what's important in your work and let that be the thing that inspires you. When I was doing Top Cookie, I just felt we were lucky to have Casey. So it told me, you better work your absolute best because you owe it to him. Heather took this chance on turning this thing that the board of the Girl Scouts absolutely loved. It was an event, and she said, we'll change it into this streaming program, having no idea if it would work. So I felt pressure in the back of my head that I said, I have to make this great for her because she took a risk in giving me this opportunity. So anything you do, no matter what it is, find a way to make it inspiring for yourself and for anyone else that you're working with or for.
Thank you, Heather.
I had no doubt it would be a success, obviously, with the people involved. But really, this is the Joe show today. Everything Joe gets his hands on is a true success. When we hired him as the digital storyteller, I'll never forget, my CFO called me and said, what in the world is a digital storyteller? And he was like, oh, you mean a videographer? I said, okay, just wait. And he saw Joe did a video for our gala, the mission moment, and he looked at it and he called me and he said, okay, I get it now. Because there is that public misconception about what the Girl Scouts does, and I need someone to be able to bring the stories to life. And to your question, I can't think of one particular moment. In the world of nonprofit, almost every day there's something that comes up, and you need to make sure that you're meeting the needs of your members, listening to what they have to say, making the hard decisions, but making sure that really that Girl Scouts stays relevant and continues to stay relevant. We just celebrated our 113th birthday, and we want to continue to celebrate 113 more.
Thank you for that. I have a question. For David. You've pushed the edges of culinary art for quite a while, particularly in salt-aged beef and other endeavors. What's the next big thing in that realm for you? And locally, I thought it was fantastic when you purchased Dixie Lee Bakery, Canesburg. I was borough manager there many years ago. I just thought that was cool. Can you share your vision of the future for Dixie Lee, located right around this area, especially in that space? It's such an interesting space with Paris Baguette and different franchise operations that are opening. These things that is the traditional neighborhood bakery that you own there in Canesburg. Can you share what the next edge that you're on in that space, and locally what your vision is for Dixie Lee?
Dixie Lee has been around for 87 years. So yes, traditional bakery, old school. It's in a It's off the beaten path for traffic. And I went there as a kid. My mother went there as a kid. And the opportunity came up, and I'm like, you know what? I went to pastry school in France. Pastry chefs and pastry shops are much different than what a bakery is. And if you think the restaurant business is hard, the bakery business is harder because there's no glam in it. So to find real bakers these days is very hard. Most of the mom and pops are closed, like hardware stores. They go to the big box, you go to Lavotti's or Wegmans or Whole Foods or whatever it may be to get a cake. And not all of them bake the cakes there. They buy the cakes cooked, and they decorate them. An old school bakery like us, we have to start from scratch. Egg prices killed us. We can only, we're selling. Talk about cookies. There's a lot of cookies. We make tons of cookies, but how much can you sell? So it's hard to make money. The vision for the bakery, we're doing well. We're doing well. First couple of years we lost over $100,000 a year, but now I'll lose a little more this year, and then I'll lose a little less the next year. That includes buying trucks, delivering, refurbishing, and renovating. So yes, there's a loss, and it's hard, but like I said, we believe in it's a long game. It's a long game. You don't just get into that town and change the way people and their habits.
Well, Amazon ran a little short in the beginning too, right?
Yeah. So did Nike. So the idea, though, speaking of, is because the back of the house in the Dixie is huge ovens, huge space. Idea is to turn it into an apprentice school for young people, because I have the room. Right, and if you can get local people to come in and learn, that's probably 4 or 5 years away.
So a few ideas on that.
To get some local kids in there, learn how to bake, learn how to do this, and get it going, and do nighttime classes, because I close at 5, so we could do classes throughout the night for cooking as well as see at nighttime in the bakery we can do a cooking class and a dinner party and a cocktail party. Because we're closed. Restaurant, you can't do that because you're feeding people, and nobody wants to have a party for breakfast. So there's that, and teaching. So the goal for me in
legacy work. That's
in the
fantastic.
long run is to teach, build a school, or collaborate with Brookdale or a facility like this, and teach people not necessarily how to make risotto, but how to think about food, how to storytell the idea behind a menu, and teach people the history of food, the geographic reasons why you do things, the seasonality, the religious reasons, and why things were done a certain way for so long. And I always say this, but to make it simple, why do we serve applesauce with pork chops and nothing else? Right? Just ask yourself that question, right?
It's delicious.
Why don't we serve applesauce with chicken? Is there a reason? Let's find out. And if you start with a nugget like that and get youngsters thinking about, why is there the pickle on the hamburger? Right? Why is ketchup with fries?
It's delicious.
Yes, it's delicious. That's one part of it. But there's digestive reasons, economic reasons. I mean, for example, I'm going to end with one other thing. Why is American cheese yellow? Who knows? There's no yellow milk, right? I'll tell you why. Cheddar cheese is white, right? In Vermont. Cheddar cheese is yellow in Wisconsin. That's it. The Wisconsin farmers decided to dye the cheddar cheese yellow, because the Canadian farmers were coming in and underselling the cheese at a cheaper price way back when. So the Americans said, let's dye our cheese yellow. It'll be American cheese. And that's how interesting. And I love those tidbits. Huh?
So it's not just.
And here we are eating it.
God bless America.
Well, it's not just about eating then.
Now it's not cheese.
Government cheese. Yeah, it's not cheese.
Well, it's about thinking, not just eating, right?
It's about teaching those types of things, and the why we do things, so that we can, like you said earlier, I like to create. If you know why you do something, then you can do the why not.
Wow. I see BCI, Burke Culinary Institute. I see it.
We hope. But that would be a good way to give back the knowledge and teaching people. And to answer the young man's question, one of the joys is when you see somebody succeed that you trained. And I'm writing a book now about my career, and we interviewed 100 people that worked for me through the years, chefs. And some of the comments were, he was so hard to work for, I had to move on, but I own 3 houses now because of him. And because of the work ethic and the possibilities, and so driving people, our job is coaching as chefs. We're coaching young people to learn the game and how to succeed, and we sometimes, we push. You push because you want them to be great.
Thank you for those very, very important words. Really, thank you. Casey, the next big thing, what's happening?
Oh, the bookends. Proudly, I launched a hot sauce this year called Casey Webb's Inferno, which is its seeds were. I met a farmer in Louisiana, and I'm a huge fan of New Orleans and Louisiana style hot sauce. So I tested a bunch of peppers that he shipped to me, and I came up with one that I really liked. It's Martinville Cayenne, which I grew here locally. Fermented, cooked, and it's made here in New Jersey. So I've had opportunity to have my name and picture slapped on a product and just have it widely sold and make a ton of money. I didn't want to do that. I grew up here, and I get to work with my farmer friends, my chef friends to make it. And we did about 300 bottles, and a couple places have them, friends of mine that have small businesses. One of them is Highlands Cafe in Highlands. The other one is Ridiculous Bakery on 36 over by me, and I've been hand selling it or just giving it out more than anything. So that's been really exciting for me to be a part of that process. I just planted about 1,000 seeds yesterday to continue the process for this season. We're doing a hot honey. We're doing a Thai chili crunch. I don't know if it's legal or not, but I did take a Thai chili back from Thailand, and we sprouted it, and we were successful. And just one. Thailand, I took one pepper from you. You gave me so much. So that on a local level, and in addition to on a local level, working with my friends, continuing what I've done with Man vs. Food. We're on a bit of a hiatus, which is great. TV has changed dramatically. So for me, I'm focusing on doing more things collaboratively on a local level here in New Jersey with my friends, be it unscripted, which is basically what Man vs. Food is, an unscripted show, reality, lifestyle, food-based, to work on maybe some more scripted things with Joe. I know Joe and I have talked about a project that we're working on, which we'll get into next time we're invited on the podcast.
Awesome.
And
You have to tell us, that ghost pepper in that
Which
show
one?
with
There
that
were so many of them.
1.2 million volts with that pulled pork sandwich, was that
basically-
actually that hot?
They basically are bolts. They're Scoville units, but they are like lightning bolts. It's all hot, Terrence. It's either huge or hot if you're not familiar with the show.
He had goggles on, he had a mask, right?
Yes, yeah.
And 95 mask.
Yeah, I was hallucinating. I saw my grandmother. Yeah, it was.
So it's like a Monday.
That was definitely a hot Tuesday in the summer in Staten Island. But that's actually all real. That the one thing I had wished that we could do during the tenure of 90 episodes for me was maybe not do the challenge, but the show is about the challenge. So my takeaway, as I mentioned earlier, was the people, the folks, the food, the travel, and all that. The challenges, yeah. So working on another show concept, which basically. I'll tip a hat to Mike Rowe. If you ever watch Dirty Jobs, it's essentially Dirty Jobs meets food. So it's the same shenanigans, but it shines a light on the people in the restaurant business and how hard those folks work. That's TBD.
And how do folks follow you? Instagram, what's it?
My Instagram handle is I am Husky for Life. I'll always be Husky for life.
That's with a Y, not French.
Number 4. Casey's Call is the rest of it, and Casey Webb. You can find me.
Awesome. Heather, the next big thing. I mean, what's not big going on with
How
Girl
much time
Scouts,
do you
right?
have?
We answered one question, by the way.
One question, yeah.
We're already paying the
of course.
vig.
Gala is number 1 on the list. We have our Women of Distinction and Community Partners Gala next Wednesday. So we do still have tickets available, and we do honor a man enough to be a Girl Scout honoree every year as well. Summer camp is starting. We have 2 camps, one in Farmingdale, one in Waretown. We run them for 10 weeks, obviously for our Girl Scouts, but we do invite their brothers. They stay in a boy unit for the summer, but we realize that for parents it's not always easy to be able to have to drop their kids off in multiple places, so we try to make it easy for them. The boys get to enjoy the same fun things as the girls, but the girls do it separately.
Finally.
Just to keep the,
No,
come on. and the girls earn their badges. At the end of the summer, we're actually partnering with Mazza Recycling with their truck pull.
Go
So we'll get a
Mazza.
nice crowd out there as well. And I mentioned before the Gold Award ceremony. We do honor our Gold Award recipients at the ceremony at the end of June. If anybody's interested in being inspired by these girls, reach out. And then next year, we are unveiling a new Girl Scout cookie. I'm not at liberty to share what it is yet. I did get to try it last week, but it is coming out, so look forward to that.
Does it have habanero pepper on the top? I just want to throw that out there.
Please don't. Please don't do that to me.
Well, thank you so much, Heather. That's awesome. Joe, next big. Oh, and how do people reach you? The website,
Is
Instagram?
gsfun.org, like Girl Scout fun.
gsfun.org, folks. gsfun.org. Please share that. Yeah, Joe, what's the next big thing?
Well, today I have to go and edit about 20 videos that the Girl Scouts need by the end of the week for Gala, so that's the first thing. I shot a film in January and February that we're finishing now. I was lucky enough to get promoted to director on that film, and we're trying to bring that home, and then go into marketing on that. Honestly, I never looked that far ahead. I always try to, and it just doesn't work out that way. In November, my calendar for the winter was empty. And then January, I ended up shooting every single day because we were shooting the film and Top Cookie at the same time. So I literally had a camera in hand every single day of the month. It was the best time ever, but I wouldn't want to do it again.
In the spirit of storytelling, right? Independent film.
Exactly. Yeah, so I just keep it open. Whatever comes next. I've been blessed that the next project always does come along. A few years ago, it would make me more nervous when something wasn't next, and now I'm like, I'd rather not know what next is, because next usually comes over a quick meal, and it's the coolest thing you've ever done, and it comes out of nowhere. To find me, just search Joe Minella. You'll find me on Instagram a lot. Like, my following is horrible on social media. Just don't go to my website. It's under construction. It does not speak to what I do yet, but you can follow me. Look for me on IMDb, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. I'm there.
Well, folks, I hope you found high quality, high-end appetizers, entrees, desserts. Can I lean into David Burke to bring that double espresso to cap out our meeting today with the next big thing, and how do folks reach out to your organization and stay in touch?
I think the next big thing is communication with things like this, community, like I said, working together. I mean, connecting dots. And, like I said, I didn't know what the Girl Scouts was about. Obviously, I was a Boy Scout. But I didn't know the depth of the business and how much good they do for the community and for the young girls. And bringing people together like this is awareness, connectivity, and growth. And that's where the growth comes from. But by getting out and communicating, and we're locked into these phones, and people are on their phones, breaking bread at a table. Put your phones down. We're doing these dinners where we blindfold you now, and you put your phone away, and you're sitting for 2 hours talking to people you can't see.
I've done it. It's amazing, actually. It's quite amazing. Thank you, David. It was
and everybody looks great. No, we take the masks off at dessert, and people actually spend another hour. The happy hour's on the tail end, and they sit around talking about what a good experience it was. And a lot of it has to do with slowing down, breathing, eating, using your senses, and talking and communicating with people. And that's where the news comes from.
And try not to stab yourself with something in the face while you're eating blind.
or eat the wrong pepper.
True story.
So I think, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. It's always good to see friends, colleagues, and neighbors.
Thanks. Thank you. We have a student's going to wrap us.
David, if you can answer
Awesome.
this just with a sound bite, because
perfect.
I know.
So with sharing your passions and like getting to this level in your career, what's one helpful skill that you didn't think you would need? And what advice would you give someone my age to develop that skill?
Okay, the skill I didn't think I would need, when I wanted to be a cook, a chef, you understand, I became a chef. When I decided to become a chef, it was my summer of freshman to sophomore year. That's very young to know what you want to do, right? I was a smart kid in high school. Yeah, I went to culinary school. Back then, you went to culinary school to be a chef, the quarterback of the kitchen. You didn't go there to be on TV. There was none. You didn't go there to write books. Very few chefs were published and or have your names on pots and pans and this and that. So it was really about passion, and it was a bad career choice in most people's eyes. being a chef in the 1977, 70. It became a profession in 78. With the work of the Culinary Institute of America, other schools like Johnson and Wales, where I've now got a doctorate, go figure, a chef gets a doctorate, or, plug for me, sorry, but it's come so far in the last 45 years. And it's a respected profession. You do work for it. One of the things I really like to let young people know is you're going to work. If you like your nails done and your hair done, forget it. You're going to be in the kitchen, and you're going to, it's a life choice. It's not a job. It's what you do with your life. It's not what you do for a living. You're going to live that world if you want to get to a certain level, right? It's a great job though, because you might, like myself, this does not work for me. Yes, there's bad days, but there's a lot of joy if you have the hospitality gene of giving. You have to give to get. In the hospitality business, you got to give a lot. You got to give your time, your hours, your creativity, your passion, and you also have to, and then it'll come back if you can sustain it and go through the hard part. Just like law school, just like becoming a doctor, you got to give a lot at the beginning, and you got to also love it. The other part of your question, what I wasn't prepared for is to be a mentor in every sense of the word, not only teaching people how to cook, but how to behave, how to think, how to get through depression, how to deal with other problems that come. As the chef, you become the guidance counselor, the coach, the teacher, the HR, the counselor, the advisor on many things, because that's your team, and that's part of it. And but they don't teach, and the accountant, right, and all that good stuff that you didn't think about when you think about making a cookie, right? And by the way, everything starts with a cookie. It's the foundation and the building blocks of all food. If you think about what is the first thing some young person learns how to make at home, a cookie.
Great segue, chef. Great segue.
Thank you very much for that. Well, Dr. David, Joe, Heather, and my fine friend on the far side there, I want to thank you so much, Casey, for being here as well. What you see here is folks gathered together in the private sector supporting nonprofits, supporting their endeavors, and when the endeavors are clearly articulated, the businesses really get behind you. So Heather, to your credit for harnessing these folks, really, that takes work. So you're the leader, you're the quarterback, you're the head chef, right? So we're all working together.
It's all a team effort,
to be head chefs in our own endeavors, and we all do it as well as the folks that are here on our panel today. Can we have a round of applause for our guests?
Got one question. One more question.
We have time for another question.
All right.
Oh, thanks.
And then afterwards, we're going to come up for a photo. Thank you, folks.
Hi, thank you. So what is your biggest advice for someone attempting to enter the food service industry to help restaurants, cafes, and coffee shops deliver an outstanding customer experience to their patrons?
So marketing. What's it?
David?
I couldn't hear.
Can you restate the question, Jeannie?
Yeah, come on closer.
Hello?
Yeah.
What is your biggest advice for someone attempting to enter the food service industry to help restaurants, cafes, and coffee shops deliver an outstanding customer experience to their patrons? What is your best advice for that?
Are you talking about the business you're in of trying to sell to restaurants? Yeah, I can tell you. I'll give you an example of my coffee. A coffee aficionado. I don't know if you heard of him. A young boy came to me in 2007. He grew up in Marlboro. He came to the fromagerie at the time. And he kept calling me and said, I got coffee. Can I do a cupping for you? And I'm like, I didn't know what a cupping was, right? And he came in with 7 or 8 different ripenesses and roasts of coffee, and he laid it out. And I came upstairs, and it was like he had a science project going on, and I learned about coffee. He taught me about it. I gave him my time. Most people won't do that. And I've been buying coffee from him ever since, and he's got a nice sized company. I used him in New York, and he used me and my brand to promote, to get other doors open. And if you're in the tea business, I believe. Okay, yeah, I think there's. Right. Well, marketing, you got to market correctly. You got to come up. We got to be creative, and you got to be persistent without being annoying. But because
We have another question over here, real quick.
And specialize. Yeah, go ahead. Hi.
Favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Oh, that's a good one.
There's only one right answer.
Free ones. Sorry, I mean, I worked for them. I think.
So favorite Girl Scout cookie? That's a tough question.
mine's the black and white. Oh, you don't have that yet? I know a good bakery.
Doesn't Dixie Lee have really good black and white cookies?
Joe, favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Probably the lemonades. The Italian in me, anything lemon. So.
I know Tara doesn't necessarily agree with this, but the Thin Mint, I think, that big.
Now, Heather, this is a
fan.
loaded.
Put
This
them in
isn't
the
just a
freezer.
loaded question. This is a loaded cookie. So I don't know. What's your answer? What's your favorite?
Mine is actually the Adventureful, which probably most people don't know. It is on the newer side. It's a brownie cookie with caramel center
That's a good
and
one.
sea salt. But nationwide, the #1 cookie seller is the Thin Mint. And then the second is the Samoa / Caramel Delight, depending on where you are.
I just wonder how you choose. And like a favorite of anything, and this can go. We can go on with this. It's like, what's your favorite cookie? Why do you have to choose a favorite? It's like pizza, right? You were just in Chicago, right? You had great pizza. It's like, why choose? There's so many.
I
to
like
share.
that thinking. I like that.
I mean, the Thin Mint that you
very
find
same
in your
thing.
freezer 6 months after Girl Scout season ended is a pretty
Yes,
great cookie, right?
winning. They're still in there. They're in there. Amazing.
I just
like
want to
peanut
thank
butter.
everybody for everything, because I feel like I've been living under a rock. I was wondering why Heather was on this panel. I'm like, what is she? And to hear the collaboration with you guys, I am so excited for what you're doing for the girls, because it's all about empowering them, educating them, giving them the confidence they need, speaking in front of crowds, selling. We're all selling, right? Everybody says, I hate selling. We're all doing it, right? So thank you so much for coming together to give the Girl Scouts the support they need to be able to do this for the girls. You've taken it to a whole nother level. I definitely want to talk with you, Heather.
Can I just add to that too? Is that thank you, Carla. She's a big part of this.
Carla!
We've yet to say her name, but Carla's a big part of why I'm involved. While Joe's involved in being our woman on the ground and connecting the tissue, the connective tissue. And then a shout out to a very good dear friend of mine who was a part of Top Cookie last year before we started filming the show. My friend Lauren Scala. I don't know if you know who Lauren is. She's on NBC. She does all the food stuff in New York City. She's amazing. She came down, donated her time. She's also a Girl Scout. So, as a guy in the game, the Girl Scout game, I was able to bring a very dear friend of mine in to be involved as well. So there's, it is about community and bringing those communities together.
Absolutely. So, for your sake, Casey, I'm going to make a comment.
Oh.
We have a women in business group. We do monthly meetings online. We do quarterly luncheons. And what we say to the men, our luncheons are not just for women, but for smart men too. So you're a very smart man to help the Girl Scouts. I want to say that to you.
Thank you.
And also, it's all about memorable experiences, right? That's why we want people to have memorable food experiences, memorable experiences in the scouting program. It's all about, everybody wants a memorable, I want you to have a memorable experience from today, and I hope you all had that.
I think
So-
that answers that gentleman's question. What is it about? How do you generate, these lasting experiences with your businesses? Is creating the environment which is welcoming, hospitality driven, and obviously really good food based. Who's got to be good too, but.
And the last thing is, again, thank you to the Walls, because they're the ones that bring us these experiences every month, and thank you all for being here.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to take a group picture.
Yeah.
And the next ChamberCast is May 27th.
27th.
It's Aging in Place.
Is this a pyramid? We're going to get the pyramid shape?
Yeah, we're going to get...
So everyone, give yourselves a nice round of applause and a round of applause for our guests. David, Heather,
Thank you.
Casey, Joe. And the favorite cookie, just so you have the answer, it's yes. You have a cookie? The answer is yes.
Yeah, I love that answer. Yes. What's the question?
Yeah, so come on up. We're going to get a group picture if you don't mind.
Thank you for doing the work you're doing.
Absolutely. It's my life.
Thanks for putting this all together. Speakers real quick. Casey, I need some back over real quick. Therese. Sure.